London is not yet a symbol. It is a mechanism. It sits on the Thames, not because of destiny, but because of geography. Rivers move goods. Bridges control passage. The city exists where commerce must slow down long enough to be taxed. This is London in the year 1500. Population perhaps 50,000. It is not the largest city in Europe. It is not the wealthiest. But it is organizing itself in ways that will matter later. The world is changing. Constantinople has fallen. New trade routes are forming. Spain and Portugal are sending ships west and south. Information moves faster than it used to. London is at the edge of this transformation, not leading it, not resisting it, adapting. This is a reconstruction of how that city functioned, not how it felt, how it worked. The world in 1500 is fragmenting and reconnecting at the same time. The Ottoman Empire controls the eastern Mediterranean. Venice and Genoa are losing their monopoly on Asian goods. New routes are being explored. The age of overland caravans is ending. The age of oceanic trade is beginning. England is on the periphery of this shift. It exports wool and cloth. It imports wine, spices, metals, dyes. It does not control the routes. It participates in them. London is the point where these goods enter and leave the kingdom. The city does not produce much. It processes, stores, redistributes. It is a node in a network. The Tudor dynasty is new. Henry VII has been king for 15 years. He is consolidating power after decades of civil war. He is building a bureaucracy. He is replacing personal loyalty with institutional control. The city is becoming legible to central authority. The center of London is not a palace. It is Guildhall. Guildhall sits north of Cheapside. Stone walls, high ceilings, records stored in chests. This is where the city governs itself. The Lord Mayor is elected annually by the guilds. He is not a nobleman. He is a merchant. His power comes from controlling the city's charter, its courts, its customs revenue. Aldermen represent the city's 25 wards. They debate regulations. They set prices. They license markets. They punish violations. Power here is procedural. Decisions are recorded. Precedents are cited. Disputes are mediated through established channels. The Tower of London sits at the eastern edge. It is a royal fortress, a prison, an armory. It reminds the city that ultimate force belongs to the crown. But day-to-day governance happens at Guildhall. The mayor's office keeps records of property transactions, apprenticeships, guild memberships. These documents create a map of who owns what, who owes whom, who has the right to work. London is being written down. The city is not planned. It has grown over centuries. But there is structure underneath the chaos. The Roman wall still defines the boundaries. It runs from the tower in the east to Ludgate in the west. The wall is old. Sections are crumbling. But the gates still function. They close at night. They control entry. They collect tolls. Inside the walls, the city is dense. Streets are narrow. Buildings lean toward each other. Sunlight does not reach the ground in many places. Water comes from wells and conduits. The city has built lead pipes to bring water from springs outside the walls. Water carriers sell it door to door. Waste is a problem. The Thames handles some of it. Open ditches carry sewage toward the river. The smell is constant. Fire is a greater threat than disease. Most buildings are timber-framed with thatched roofs. Fire spreads quickly. The city has fire wardens. They inspect chimneys. They organize bucket chains when fire breaks out. London Bridge is the only crossing. It is lined with shops and houses. Crossing takes time. The bridge includes a water wheel that powers grain mills. It narrows the river, which increases the current, which provides power. The city is built to extract value from geography. London's economy is not dominated by one industry. It is a distribution hub. Wool comes from the countryside. It is processed into cloth in smaller towns. The cloth comes to London to be finished, dyed, and exported. Wool merchants control this trade. They are the wealthiest men in the city. The Hanseatic League operates a trading post called the Steelyard on the Thames. German merchants live there. They import Baltic grain, timber, furs, and metals. The Steelyard is extraterritorial. English law does not fully apply inside. Italian merchants operate through branches of Florentine and Venetian banking houses. They deal in luxury goods, silk, spices, dyes. They also provide credit. They finance royal expenditures. The city's wealth moves through guilds. The great livery companies, mercers, grocers, drapers, fishmongers control access to their trades. They set standards. They train apprentices. They punish unlicensed competitors. Apprenticeship takes 7 years. It is unpaid. Boys are bound by contract. The system controls labor supply. Markets operate on a schedule. Cheapside is the main commercial street. Stalls are assigned by regulation. Prices are posted. Weights and measures are inspected. Taxation is layered. The king collects customs on imports and exports. The city collects tolls at gates and wharves. Guilds collect fees from members. Money flows upward through multiple channels. The Thames is the reason the city exists. Ships arrive from the North Sea. They dock at wharves along the riverbank. There is no single port. Each wharf is privately owned or controlled by a guild. Unloading is regulated. Stevedores are licensed. Goods are inspected and taxed by volume or weight. Records are kept. Carts carry goods from the wharves into the city. Streets are too narrow for large vehicles. Transport happens in small increments. Movement is slow. Entry by land is controlled by the gates. Each gate has guards. They check cargoes. They collect tolls. They close at curfew. Travelers must declare their business. Foreigners must register with the city. Time is measured by church bells and tide tables. Work begins at dawn. The Thames is tidal. Ships can only enter or leave during high tide. The city synchronizes itself to the river. The city does not move fast, but it moves predictably. Power in London is institutional, not personal. The Exchequer collects the king's revenues. It operates from Westminster, just outside the city. Officers record every payment. Debts are tracked. Defaulters are pursued. The law courts sit at Westminster Hall. Common Pleas handles property disputes. King's Bench handles criminal cases. Judges are career bureaucrats, trained in Roman and canon law. Cases are documented. Precedents accumulate. The law becomes predictable. Predictability enables commerce. The church is woven into the city's fabric. There are over 100 parish churches inside the walls. St. Paul's Cathedral dominates the skyline. It is not just a religious site. It is an administrative center, a meeting place, a marketplace. Church courts handle marriage, wills, moral offenses. They collect tithes. They own significant property. Religious houses, monasteries, friaries own land, run hospitals, provide charity. They are economic actors, not just spiritual ones. Power here is diffuse but organized. No single person controls the city. Systems do. Most Londoners are not merchants or officials. They are laborers. East of the Tower, dock workers live in cramped tenements. They load and unload ships. They work when the tide allows. Income is irregular. South of Cheapside, craftsmen rent small workshops. Shoemakers, blacksmiths, coopers, tailors. They work long hours. Workshops double as homes. Apprentices sleep above the shop. Women work. They brew ale. They sell food in markets. They work as laundresses, seamstresses, servants. Widows sometimes inherit their husband's trade and continue the business. Children work. They run errands, tend animals, assist in workshops. Most learning happens through apprenticeship or observation. Housing is dense. Multiple families share single buildings. Rooms are small. Privacy does not exist. Cooking, working, sleeping happen in the same space. Disease is common. Typhus, dysentery, tuberculosis. Infant mortality is high. The city consumes people. It must constantly draw replacements from the countryside. There is no social safety net. Guilds provide some support for members, parish churches distribute charity, but most people are one illness away from destitution. The system requires their labor. It does not protect them. London is watched. Each ward elects a constable. His job is to maintain order. He patrols at night. He detains drunks, breaks up fights, questions strangers. The position rotates. Enforcement is inconsistent. The city employs beadles and scavengers. Beadles enforce guild regulations. Scavengers inspect streets and markets. Both report violations. Curfew is enforced at the gates and on the bridge. Bells ring at dusk. Legitimate travelers can pass. Others are questioned. The Lord Mayor's officers inspect weights and measures. They check the quality of bread, ale, meat. The pillory stands in Cheapside for public shaming. Strangers must register. Foreign merchants must declare their goods. The city tracks who enters, who leaves, what they carry. Crime is punished publicly. Thieves are whipped. Repeat offenders lose a hand or an ear. Executions happen at Tyburn, outside the walls. Control is not constant. It is selective. The system demonstrates authority without requiring total enforcement. Surveillance here is not technological. It is social. Neighbors watch neighbors. The city watches itself. Religion structures time and identity. The calendar is liturgical. Feast days, fasts, saints' days. Work stops on Sundays and major holy days. Church attendance is mandatory. Absence is noted. Moral behavior is enforced through social pressure and church courts. Sermons emphasize duty, obedience, hierarchy. The social order is presented as divinely ordained. Acceptance, not resistance, is preached. Guilds have patron saints. They sponsor masses, maintain chapels, organize processions. Religious practice reinforces guild identity. Mystery plays are performed on feast days. They present biblical stories in English. They are entertainment, but also instruction. Death is public. Funerals are expensive. Wills specify masses for the deceased's soul. The living pay for prayers. Religion here is not purely spiritual. It is institutional. It disciplines behavior. It justifies hierarchy. It provides meaning within the constraints of the system. Information in London does not travel through official channels alone. Taverns and alehouses operate in every ward. They are licensed by the city, but regulation is loose. They serve ale, bread, sometimes meat. Men gather here after work. News arrives from travelers, merchants, sailors, peddlers. It spreads through repetition. Rumors circulate. Prices in distant markets. Political developments. Scandals. Accuracy is variable. Taverns are negotiation spaces. Deals are made. Debts are settled. Disputes are resolved before they reach the courts. Some taverns cater to specific trades. Sailors have their own. So do carters, craftsmen, apprentices. The city tolerates taverns because it must. They provide release. They prevent unrest. But officials also watch them. Sedition starts in alehouses. These are the spaces where the system becomes visible from below, where men complain about taxes, about guild restrictions, about the cost of grain. Information here is horizontal. It moves between equals. It is unreliable, but human. Ending. London in 1500 is not the center of the world. It is a node in a network that is beginning to reorganize itself. The systems being built here, bureaucracy, documentation, market regulation, surveillance, institutional power, will outlast the individuals who operate them. The city consumes labor and produces order. It turns raw materials into finished goods, foreign goods into taxable revenue, chaos into legibility. It is not a stage for kings or legends. It is a mechanism. It processes people, capital, and information. This is how London works, not how it was remembered, how it functioned. The empire will come later. The symbolism will come later. In 1500, it is simply a city organizing itself to survive and extract value from its position on a river at the edge of a changing world. If you'd like to see another city reconstructed in this way, leave a comment. Damascus, Tenochtitlan, Venice, Hangzhou. Which system should we examine next?